Greetings, everyone. I was asked today to share a little with you about the work of Re-Forma. In 2016, Todd Johnston released some research which said that worldwide there are about 2.3 million evangelical pastors. But the sad truth is that of those 2.3 million in 2016, only 5% had a formal qualification. And by formal, we mean a bachelor's or a master's degree. That means that over 2 million pastors in 2016 who were evangelical were not trained formally. Now, some of them were trained non-formally, and some of those non-formal programs are exceptionally good. Others are not so good. But the problem is that there's no global standard for non-formal theological training. Added to the problem is the fact that the Global Alliance for Church Multiplication, you can find them on the website at GACX, Global Alliance for Church Multiplication. It's a body of church planters committed themselves to planting at least 5 million multiplying churches. And they're doing so, or trying to, at the rate of 1 million new churches per year. That means that in addition to the 2 million in 2016, 1 million new pastors are needed every year. Well, of course, the seminaries can't keep up with the demand. So how do we solve the problem? Well, a small group of people got together after that research was released, and they prepared what we now have as the 34 outcomes, which you can find on the Re-Forma website. That's www.re-forma.global. Each of those outcomes represents a key competence that we believe each pastoral leader needs to be able to demonstrate in order to minister effectively. Now, some people struggle with the term outcome, so I have found that it's very easy to explain it by referring to your driver's license test. When you go for the test, the examiner is not really interested in how you got there, whether you learned from your father or your mother or a driving school. All he's interested in is whether you can drive the car competently. So the outcome for him is the student will be able to drive the car competently. It's exactly the same with Re-Forma. We don't mind how your students get to the point of being able to show that they can actually do the outcomes. We're interested in whether they can do it or not. Now, in order to help you, on the website, I have put a link to Dr. Tim Keep, who has a good curriculum that he has made available free of charge. And for those who want to enroll their groups as a result of this presentation today, you can go to the website, download his curriculum free of charge, and start teaching. Now, his curriculum, like all others, won't cover every single one of the 34. So you would need to still top up with a few of your own. If you already have a curriculum and you're keen to do this, simply compare the outcomes that you teach in your curriculum with the ones that are listed on the website, and then top up with the missing ones. By the end of the 34 outcomes, your students must be able to demonstrate all of them. For example, the first outcome talks about recounting the stories of 10 major events in the Old Testament and 10 leading characters in the Old Testament. That means that you would choose to tell them or teach them the major events like the flood, the Exodus, and so on. And by the end of the first outcome, Each student must be able to stand in front of you without assistance and tell you those stories and those characters as accurately as possible. If they can, then they have passed the first outcome, and you can move on to outcome number 2, 3, and 4, and so on until they can do all 34. Once they can, you as the facilitator would simply send me an evaluation sheet for each of them, confirming that they have successfully demonstrated the outcomes. You would pay the fee for the certificate, which is $5 plus postage per student, and I will then send you a batch of these certificates signed by the president of Re-Forma, Dr. Manfred Kohl, signed by the representative of the World Evangelical Alliance, Dr. Thomas Schirmacher, and there is a place for you at the bottom of the certificate to sign as well, being the facilitator of the group. So that, in short, is what Re-Forma is all about. As I'm speaking to you today, we have already enrolled 147 groups on 4 continents, and it is growing on a daily basis. And the reason is simple. So many people are untrained, and so many people are realizing that this free curriculum, this free set of outcomes, is the way to get a global standard for non-formal theological training. So may I encourage you, if you haven't yet enrolled your group, to think about it, and if you would like to do so, just go onto the website www.re-forma.global, and you will find a button that says Enroll Your Group. Click on the button, fill out your name, your email address, and give your group a name. You can then omit or leave out all the names of the students at this stage, because we only need to know those at the end when we issue the certificates. I will then immediately send you a letter explaining what you need to do, and you will be on your way. We are also having quality assurance institutes in various places in Africa during 2020, the first of which is in March in South Africa, the second one is in August in Kenya, and the third one will be in Ghana in November. It'll be a 2-day event. We will pay for all your accommodation and your food while you're at the conference. You just have to get your own way to the venue. And the idea is that we will train you in how better to facilitate your group and how best to do the assessment, so that we can make sure that we maintain these high standards right across the world. So thank you for your attendance to this video, and I pray God's blessings on you and your ministry wherever you are. Thank you.